Okay, let's count. 1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6,
7. All right.
Yeah. You know when you do something, you think, oh, I hope nobody saw that? I did one the other day. Yeah. I was
picking your nose.
Yeah, that's right. Scratching yourself inappropriately, you know. When certain parts of your body are itchy, it is hard to scratch them without looking as though you're touching yourself. Correct?
I know. I've been leaning up against the door frame lately because my back is itchy.
Yeah, my dad used to do that. Yeah,
like a cat.
Yeah, like a horse.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm pretty proud of the fact that during COVID I've taken up a bit of gardening and doing a pretty good job. And I bought a non-kink hose to apply fertilizer. How's this? Fertilizer to the back and front lawn. And what you do, you get a bottle and you connect it to so it mixes it up with the water and sprays it on the lawn. You walk around and you look so much like you know what you're doing. You just look, wow, this guy has really got it together.
Has Don Burke been giving you tips?
Yeah,
over
exactly.
The phone?
Yep, Don Burke is just he would give his blessing. Hello, Don, if you're listening. Anyway, so I'm going along. I'm out the front, so I've got the hose over the fence, so it's a little bit compromised, and I'm going right up the street, up to the corner almost, and bang, I get a kink.
Well, it was kink free.
I thought it was kink free too, and I look around and I've got a double kink. I'm going a double kink because I know with one kink you can give the hose a flick and the kink will come out.
Yes.
Yeah, you just go, how good am I? Flick, kinks out, back on track. So
you've got no annoying children that will be standing on it as a joke, which we used to do to Dad.
Yeah.
And then he'd look in it, and then you'd jump off and he'd squirt him in the face.
Well, that's kind of what happened. I put down the hose with the thing on it on the ground, so it was cut off, and then I walked up and I picked up the hose, undid one kink, undid the second kink, and got shot in the ass with the hose.
Are you a friend or an enema? The old ugly Dave Gray.
It was kind of an archy spray, so it wasn't too bad, but it was full of fertilizer. So I'm going, is that going to burn me? Is it going to wreck my jeans? Is it going to stink? Anyway, it was, and then I look, and luckily there were two other people out in the street because everyone's out in the street, doing their gardens because it's COVID, got nothing else to do, and they were both looking the other way. So I quickly walked in with. I stood up with my stained pants and walked back inside, and Selena said, "What happened?" I go, "There was an incident. I'm going to change my pants."
Yes. And don't ask me, woman. Yeah, there was an incident.
Yeah, there was an incident, but it's all okay now. I'm back on track. But anyway, if you're out there and you're listening and you have had an incident, my thoughts are with you because you're doing it in the name of you're just trying to keep yourself entertained, and you end up with
I mowed the lawn.
Crutch.
I mowed the lawn yesterday, and which is quite painstaking because it's electric. We've talked about my Flymo before.
You bought the Flymo, did you? Did you buy the Flymo?
Yeah. Years ago.
Did you say you say your back's been sore?
Yeah, from the Flymo.
It'd be the Flymo. Flymo back.
That's tough work though, mowing the lawn. It's like, but as you said, we got nothing else to do in Victoria, so you end up doing the garden. I was doing some weeding. It's incredible.
Yep. My auntie was obsessed with weeding. She would. Mum told me that one time she was driving down either the Hume Highway or something, big freeway, and they got a flat tire, and so she was standing around, just near the long grass next to the road, and saw a couple of nice weeds that were just going to come out quite nicely. So she started weeding.
Wow.
Next to the Hume Highway.
God, that's amazing. Obsession. That's an addiction.
It is. Look, I know we're sounding old. I don't care, but there's a very satisfying pop that a weed makes when it comes out.
Yeah.
And then you get.
I had a big one like a tree.
Oh yeah,
like a tree.
You just go, how good am I? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure people would love us to keep on talking about weeding.
About gardening.
I don't know. I think this is a spin-off podcast.
Gardening.
Dave and Glenn do gardening. I don't know. Call me. Oh, why is the music coming on?
Yeah.
Hey, Sam. Oh,
Hello and welcome to Somehow Related, and now please welcome your hosts Glenn Robbins and Dave O'Neill.
Well, welcome to the podcast. People love gardening. I love it.
Oh, it
Remember the great gardening people we grew up with? Alan Seal.
Oh,
remember Alan Seal?
Yes.
And who was the one that was done for nicking plants from the nursery? I don't know if it was Alan Seal. It was one of them was done for nicking plants. Yeah.
And I like the guy that got nominated for a gold Logie. I wasn't sure about him, and then I saw him at the Logies. He was just a lot of fun. You know, the guy with the beard, Costa. He's
great.
Seems like a good guy.
Yes.
Seems not that I've watched. Was it Gardening Australia? But they anyway.
He's passionate about what he's doing.
Anyone who's passionate is interesting. Are you
Vasily, who was on SBS for a while? You know him? Yeah, he's good.
Vasily, I hear him. I'm on Talkback Radio. He's good. Yeah. Anyway, again, Sam is
gardening celebrities.
She's doing that thing with her fingers. She's running her fingers on the table, going, you know, when you're being a bit impatient. Guys, can we get on with it, please? Okay, gardening. Yes, Sam. Please, Sam. Give us the two topics.
Yeah, and we've got to work out how they're related. If anyone has just joined the show who's Googled what's a good gardening podcast, and they've come up with us.
If I read a review that says if they just stop talking about who cares about gardening, I think I will. By the way, we enjoy. Do you read the review? I occasionally read the reviews. I'm a little scared to read them because I think, I'm going to be caught out somehow. But we've got lovely. So thanks to the people who have reviewed.
Generally positive. They're generally positive.
Yeah. So it's good to hear because it's the only feedback we really get, except for Facebook, which I don't have.
Well, I can send you. There's been a lot of talk on Facebook. Don't worry about that. There's always a lot of talk on Facebook. So you can join our Facebook group.
Oh, okay. And do you participate?
We're a cult.
Do you?
Yeah, you bet. I'll put on photos. I'll put on anything. Yeah. I'll meet people. We go for drinks. You're missing out, Glenn. We have picnics. You
get a lot of discounts, don't you, to all the different businesses that are listening to the show. Wherever you get stuff for free meals at restaurants. Oh, not that we.
Well, yeah, like the time I went on Christmas Day to the Cuckoo. I don't know why we went to the Cuckoo on Christmas Day.
This is bad. We're talking about Cuckoo and we're talking about gardening. Oh, for fuck's sake.
The Cuckoo is like a German-themed restaurant in the Dandenongs. It's an all-you-can-eat smorgasbord.
Yeah.
And we went there on Christmas Day for some reason, and there was a radio guy. Who was the overnight guy on AW who was all around Australia? And he married a listener. And he was there with some listeners. Because
from 3AW?
Yeah. He used to do overnights before Tony Moclair did overnights, and then he passed away.
Oh, yes.
Not Neil, Ian, Gary, Stuart, Paul,
Brian, Keith.
It
was Keith McGowan.
Keith McGowan, you got it.
Wow.
Anyway, so the German guy hosting the event gets up and goes, because they always had an oompa, and some poor young girl who looked like she'd been held captive in Lederhausen would sing Edelweiss, and she was fresh from Germany.
Listeners are dropping off, Dave.
No, they're not. They love the Cuckoo. Hans would get up and go, "This is young, Fräulein from Germany. She's out here on a holiday." She would sing Edelweiss, and then he said, "And we've got a radio celebrity today." And my father-in-law elbowed me, because I was on the radio, and then the guy went, "We have Keith McGowan with a table of his listeners." And Keith, he's an old guy with a beard, gets up and waves. So that could be us next Christmas Day.
No, we're not
the
far
Cuckoo.
Away from that. We're not far away, seriously.
We have Glenn Robbins with a table of somehow related listeners.
Yeah.
The podcast. Very popular. Have a listen. They did Nazis and Fanta. That was their first one.
We love it.
They love a bit of Nazi talk on that podcast. Okay, let's get our topics. Here we go. What are they?
SAO biscuits and the Salvation Army.
Did you mention cults before? I think Sam was listening to us and thought, well, I can't give you a cult, but I'll give you a religion that's quite close to a cult.
What, you're saying this is Salvation? You reckon that's a cult? It's not a cult.
Yes.
Well, because they wear uniforms and they have tambourines and what do you mean by positions? Oh, they
have ranks. They have ranks like the army. They got like generals and majors and stuff. That's a I know. Like they try religions like this try and argue they're a religion. I think if you're wearing uniforms and you have to marry within the group, and they don't like the gays or the lesbians, you got to say they're a cult.
But I don't. But it's because of the history that they wear the uniform, isn't it?
Yeah, well, sure you reach a point. Like in Scouts, the uniforms have been modernised.
How old were you? Excuse me.
23.
23.
Bless you.
So
I was 23 on Left Scouts. Yeah, but the Scouts have modernised. They don't wear the little shorts and the... They're
Still wearing a
modernised.
uniform. Still wearing a uniform.
But the Salvos are wearing the uniforms like they were 200 years ago.
I reckon I put that on Facebook. I want to see you in your uniform on Facebook.
I've got photos of that.
Yeah, I think our listeners would love to see you in your uniform with it. Yeah.
I'll have to find the photo.
Because what are the Salvos? Salvos go back to the 1800s, weren't they? Didn't they get together to help?
William Booth founded the Salvos.
You know what you're talking about. So was it army related or was it prison related? Wasn't it for prisoners? Wasn't it for something for
I don't know.
giving somewhere for prisoners to live after they?
Oh, really?
If they had nowhere to go, it was
and they were just militaristic. They adopted this militaristic. I don't know if William Booth was in the military, but they just adopted this militaristic kind of, uniform and ranks and stuff. But I mean, on the whole, I don't mind the Salvos. I mean, they do a great job with the poor and the homeless and stuff. But I have a few question marks about them. That's all. Like, well, number one, they're fundamentals Christians, so.
Does that matter?
All that stuff.
Are they hurting anybody?
Well, I mean, you got to ask yourself: do they help? Would they rather help Christians or would they help everyone? You know what I mean?
I think that would be. I don't have any historical sort of research on it, but I get the feeling that they're out there for everyone. I mean, I must admit, they're my go-to charity.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't like religious-based charities. It's like World Vision, or as my brother who still works in NGOs in Switzerland calls them, Blurred Vision. Oh, yes, Blurred Vision, because they're Christian organisations. And he reckons they're naturally a little bit prejudiced. They favour Christians as opposed to other religions.
So when I go to drop my stuff off at the Salvos, are they going to? Do I just say God bless you, or are they going to ask me to say a little prayer or something? Are they going to ask? Are they going to check me? Do I have to have a tattoo somewhere? What do I need?
But they've also moved into like helping people get jobs. So remember back in the day when you were on the dole in the 80s, there was the CES, right, and that helped you get a job, the Commonwealth Employment Service. Yeah. Now, that's all been privatised now, and so you've got people like, Marino Russo, like People Plus, and all these organisations have been set up. And the Salvation Army are one of the leading job agencies. And so they're helping people get jobs. And I remember going to their website, and they've got a little counter that ticks over every time they get someone a job. God, it made me laugh. I don't know why.
So they're giving people jobs.
Yeah.
They're helping the needy. They're out there for people who just come out of prison. They're on the war fields, and you don't like them. They
don't like gays, for example. You can't be gay and be a Salvation Army. They're not like the Uniting Church.
Surely that wouldn't be. Surely if I turned up with not that I'm gay,
with your boyfriend,
not that it's a bad thing, but if you turned up with a tambourine, they wouldn't be going. They'd be going. I'm serious. If you said, "Can I join the tambourine band?" Because that's what they have, the Salvation Army tambourine band, don't they?
Yeah. They love the tambourine.
Would they be asking? Would I fill out a form? Can play a tambourine? Tick. Can walk in a band? Tick. Can wear a uniform? Tick. Am I gay? Oh, they've asked me if I'm gay.
I think if they said, Glenn, how are you so good at playing the tambourine? Well, I do the Mardi Gras every year, and I'm on the back. And they'd be going, right, okay.
He's out. And would they ask me to leave, or would they just quietly not?
I think. Look, in the past, like they've actively campaigned against gay marriage and stuff in New Zealand and places like that. I can't speak for Australia, but
I didn't know this is incredible news to me.
And so they've actively campaigned in some countries against gay marriage because they don't believe in it. So as I said, they do a great job helping the poor and good on them and all that. But I think some of their beliefs are stuck in the last century or whatever.
I read something the other day. Now tell me the street, because you've been on Speaks and Specs 55 times, as you said last episode. Is Strawberry Fields written about the Salvation Army? I reckon it is.
Yes. Yeah, it's a home. Wasn't it an orphanage or something?
You're good. Yeah. It's an orphanage that John Lennon used to live up the road from. And because his parents, he didn't get on well with his parents or something, did he, John Lennon? And he used to go down and play with the orphans at the Salvation Army. Really? And he wrote a song about Strawberry Fields Forever. Isn't that beautiful? I never knew that. I thought Strawberry Fields Forever thought he was on acid and he was just off his nut talking about strawberry fields and running around with no clothes on. But no, it was an orphanage.
Well, we've talked about this before, but James Corden was a former. He's from a Salvation Army family.
Yeah, and James Corden stayed up the road from you with a mate of your kids.
Yes, and he's one of the dads at school. He's from a Salvation Army family too, and he married a Salvation Army woman.
Well, he's done very well for himself.
Yeah, but they've left the religion, so because I think that I mean, like any of those sort of religions, people leave them. I mean, so if you were to choose a cult or a religion, which one would you do?
Again, once was enough for me. The first one.
I could see you as a Hare Krishna. Now, I'm not saying the full shaved head and bang the tambourine down Swanson Street and go, Hare Krishna.
Well, that's what
like,
they do.
George, but George Harrison was a Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
And he wasn't shaving his head and handing out vegetarian coupons to their restaurant.
Look, whatever they're doing, and if they're happy and no one's getting hurt, no one's getting inappropriately taken advantage of sexually or financially, if they're not hurting anybody, go up in the hills and do it. And then, just do what you want. If you're not, would I be a member of a cult? Maybe. I'm willing to read the brochure. If you join this cult, you will.
I don't know. I reckon I'd be more. See, I see you a bit more hippier than me. I see you in a long flowing robe, nothing underneath. You're sort of in charge. Yeah. There's a lot of attractive women and men around you with blonde hair. I see you by the beach. You're talking the stuff up. But I reckon I'm more Pentecostal. I'm more like I'd love to be like a one of those preachers. I reckon that'd be great.
Oh, you'd be up there. You're doing the motivational.
I tell you what happened to me today, Glenn. People, I was walking down the street. A man asked me for money, and I said to him, "What are you going to use this money for?"
Well, who's the great?
Well, Sam Kinison was a preacher, the great comedian.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah. And you know why he was one of the reasons he was so good, because he had the great rhythms. He would peak at the right, just like you were doing then. They work, and I looked him in the face and I said, "Hallelujah!" Yeah, he just
that'd be great fun, and also you can get a laugh so easy in church. Because I remember even when I was a kid, and Mum made us go to church, and the priest would crack some really lame joke, and everyone would piss themselves because they're so happy that something's happened. Yeah, in church.
I think last week we made comparisons about whose green room would be more interesting. Yours had a much better rider than mine. I got to say, if the listeners are going, who do I choose? Flowing robes down by the beach, or listening to Dave yell at us. I think,
and I'd be in an industrial area too. My church would be reckon next to the panel beaters.
I'd be on the New South Wales coast somewhere, probably up in the hills, but not too far away from the beach, eating healthy food, bit of meditating, a little bit of massage, a little bit of running around, banging a few bells, maybe some bongos, a bit of drum action, and occasionally walk on some hot coals, whatever. But we're getting yelled at. Dave just yells at us every night.
There'd be music too. There'd be like ScoMo church, like a Prime Minister goes along to.
Your cult's not taking off.
Praise the Lord, do-do-do. Praise the Lord, do-do-do. And I keep them locked in there for hours so they all get really hungry and they all get up and faint and stuff. And
you'd have one of those sweat. You'd have a sweat lodge probably. And people would, probably die in there.
And talk in tongues and go, you're like, oh my God, I found Jesus. No, you're just hungry, mate. But anyway.
Okay, look, I think we may have salvos who are listeners, and I think we need to bring it back and let this.
I have to say, I went on Celebrity Name Game.
Yep.
I don't want to drop too many. With Grant Daniel, whatever. And it was me and Joe Hildebrand, I think, the great man. And there were two sisters on, and they were both Salvation Army ministers, and they were the loveliest people, and they both worked in the Salvation Army shops. And I made the joke, well, I bought all my clothes from there. No one laughed. And so then they had to pull out $5 and go, I'm going to make a donation right here, right now. And we helped them win $10,000 because one of them needed a new washing machine and one wanted to go to Hadrian's Wall in England. And they were such nice people. And the ex-salvos at my kids' schools, the parents that used to be in the salvos, are such nice people. And now I remember, Glenn, when I worked at the Red Cross, we used to meet with the Salvation Army and the Seventh-day Adventists, and the Salvation Army were really good. The bloke was very funny because I was telling him I was going, this was in the 80s, I said, I'm going overseas. He goes, are you going to go to Rome? I went, yeah, I'm going to Rome. He goes, are you going to go to the Vatican? I went, yeah, I'm going to the Vatican. He goes, "I'll tell you what, mate, you won't see a skinny priest in the Vatican."
That's one thing's for sure.
He was having a crack at the Catholics. Because that's the thing about the Salvos, they're pretty pure. They don't drink or anything, do they? They don't. No, they wouldn't drink.
Who don't drink?
The Salvos, they wouldn't.
No,
drink.
they wouldn't drink. No.
No smoking.
No.
No bongs. That'll be your cult up in the bush with you.
Okay. I think we should talk about SAOs because
you're right.
I think we should just shift gear and talk about something that's a little bit more appropriate. Let's go straight to SAOs. SAOs, I might mix them. Which is it? You got SAOs and you got saladas.
Yeah,
a SAO is a single square, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we were more a salada family.
I was a salada family.
Yeah, because you know what? Bite size, snack size, man size. Yeah.
Because I remember with saladas you could do 100, a 200, or a 400. Like have you ever done a salada race?
No.
Try and eat a salada biscuit as quickly as you can without any water. You can't do it. Try 100's hard enough. That's 1 square. 2 squares, 200. And 4 squares is 400, so like the 400 meters.
Really?
You can't. I guarantee it will probably take you. You can't eat 400. You can only just do 1 square.
Wow.
And you just get this thing in your mouth that won't go down. Anyway, so what's SAOs? Arnotts, isn't it? Arnotts.
They're both Arnotts, I reckon.
Are they? What's SAOs? Early? When would it be?
80s.
War?
Oh no, actually, you're right. I remember the ads in the 80s, but it was turn of the century kind of stuff, wasn't it? The SAO biscuit.
Yeah, it would have been. With SAO would be, I'm just trying to think, SAO, are they the ones that are slightly bigger? They're the ones that you have cheese and tomato on, like an open SAO?
Yeah.
Bit of pepper? Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah. And do you put a top on it?
I don't reckon you do.
So a salada was more your Vegemite and your cheese, whereas salada was more of your slightly more exotic, was it?
SAO was a bit more exotic.
Sorry. SAO was a bit more exotic, wasn't it?
I think salada was more popular with kids just because you could break it into 4.
And you could squeeze it and the stuff would come out the top.
Yes, and we used to have tomato sauce and butter on salad.
Oh, seriously?
Beautiful.
See,
like poverty food.
You'd be serving
after we go and visit the Salvation...
That's all you would feed your people, all your disciples.
After we'd visit the Salvation Army and get a donation off them because we were poor, we'd go home and have our saladas.
So it was a SAO wasn't a play lunch thing, was it? It really was more of an adult thing, wasn't it? That's what you were saying before.
You can't beat a SAO. You can't beat a SAO for a snack.
You can't beat
a SAO for a snack.
Good. Yeah. I got to say, we weren't a big SAO family.
No.
Because I'm right in saying I think they had to stay in the pack. They couldn't go into a jar, could they? Because they'd probably break up in the jar, wouldn't they?
Too big, almost too big for it. We you know what we have now? We have Savoys all the time. The kids love Savoys.
So they're round.
Yeah, they're round, like a Jats, like a
And how do they have them?
Oh, they cheese, pickles, tomato.
What, 6 in a go?
Butter. Yeah.
6, bang, 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 bang. Wolf.
But you know what I like? I like the multi-grain biscuit, the Vita Wheats. I like the Vita Wheats.
We have Vita. We've been taking to having Vita Wheats late at night with a bit of cheese. Oh God, I can't believe this
cheese and Vegemite. Yum. This is why people tune in. They want some culinary tips off us. Savoys or...
Hearing the people going, you've been listening to Somehow Related? Yeah, it's going on. What's happening? Dave's trying to form a cult. They're talking about gardening and eating SAO fucking biscuits. Excuse my language, but seriously.
Vita Wheats.
Yeah,
Vita Wheats.
And Dave's getting really excited about Vita Wheats. Oh, geez.
Dave's also getting stuck into the Salvos, who are like angels.
Who are lovely people. I mean, didn't we?
They are nice people.
When we were going through a hard time, they were there for us. They were there for us. But not for Dave, apparently. So what else can we say about SAOs?
Oh, look, I think they're the classic dry biscuit that now has been
They're Australian. They are Australian. Are they still Australian owned? That's interesting. They probably aren't. This was sold off, wasn't it?
Yeah, sold off to someone. They always get sold off. And remember when they changed the factory from Melbourne to Sydney, that the people reckon the biscuits tasted different, and the guy, well, it's true. The water is different. They reckon the water changes different. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair point.
Oh man, it lights up Facebook. Those kind of conversations. People lose their minds over biscuits.
Oh, geez, I've got to make a point of looking that up.
Can't beat a SAO for a snack. Well, we can have some. We've raved on for a while. Let's have some thinking music.
Okay, so I'm just going to think what my answer is, and I'll say I do need
the SAO for a snack.
So we could have that ad.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could have some Salvation Army, because they have bands and tambourines and stuff.
Yeah, they love a tambourine. They love a tambourine.
Mm. Or, how about this? How about you and I, we pretend, you and I are in... People are really going to turn off with this. That you and I are in a Salvation Army band, and you turn up and you're hungry and you haven't got anything, and I brought some SAOs.
Great.
Okay?
All right. Okay.
So we need the ding-a-ling-a-ling music, please, Sam.
Yeah, and also I'm Major and you're Captain. I want a ranking.
Oh, so what are you? What are you?
I'll be Major, you be Captain.
So Major is over. Major
I'd
is
say so. I'd say so.
Major is higher than Captain. Okay, and do we know each other? We know each other.
Yeah,
okay, we know each other. So it's a regular thing. But are you upset about you're upset about not having anything to eat?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've just been out.
Okay. This is good. Okay, can we have the ding-a-ling, please?
Ding. Oh boy! Hello, Captain Robbins. How are you?
Hello, Captain.
Major. I'm Major.
Major Dave. Can I put my tambourine down here? I'll just put it over there. Is that
right.
your tambourine? Can I put my tambourine on top of your tambourine?
It's my tambourine. I've just had a whole day of helping poor people, getting people jobs, collecting money.
You didn't give anything. Did you give anything to Dave O'Neill at all? Have you been past his place of late? Because don't go past his place. He stands out the front. And if you're in a Salvation Army uniform, he yells at you. He's been spreading some bad vibes about us. But I hear he started a cult, and so he rang up and wanted some tips. So, but I tell you what, Major Robbins, I am quite. I'm
Captain Robbins.
I'm Captain Robbins.
Captain Robbins, I am. I have a whole day of helping people doing the Lord's work, and this uniform is quite hot. I don't know why we still wear them. We should get polo shirts just with the salvos on.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
and shorts.
Yeah, and what's your problem though?
Well, I'm hungry. I've had nothing to eat. I've given all my food to the poor who we help.
You've come to the right person.
What have you got?
Do you love the SAO biscuits? Do you like the SAO? What do you want?
Because I, Glenn, am a Salvation Army Major, and we like plain and simple things. We are not tempted by sugar, salt, and alcohol and drugs.
Okay, here you go. Look, in this bag here.
Just one? Can I have two?
I'll put a couple more in. Okay, there you go. Take those and hey, here's the conductor. The band's starting. We're band starting. Okay. Pick up your tambourine.
No, I've got to eat my biscuit.
No, the music's starting. Major Dave, stop! Don't be eating the SAOs. Play your tambourine and eat the SAO.
Okay, I'll play with the SAO with one hand. One hand, SAO now.
I'm telling you, you've got a dry mouth. You'll never be able to get through them. Seriously, don't. Mr. Wizard! Help me, Mr. Wizard!
Excuse me, someone's eating a biscuit over there. We're going to stop the music. Is that Major O'Neill again? Oh, he's too fat.
Play the dingle music, please.
Kick him out. He's too fat for the Salvation Army. Go and join the Uniting Church, you hippie. All right.
Okay.
I was right there.
Yeah,
in the hall of the Salvation Army.
Yeah, no, you were there. You had that sense of authority about you that I liked.
Praise the Lord.
What
you have a crack?
I'm going to say that when the Salvos, they used to distribute SAO biscuits on the front line to the troops during World War One. And that was they didn't have doggy biscuits. They didn't have the spam. They had SAOs with a bit of spam on it. Yeah, they had SAO with spam on it, and that's what they used to give to the troops to feed them. World War One.
Wow. I am going to say that SAO, I think there's a clue in the name of the SAO, SAO. I think it stands for Salvation Army Officer. I think it was invented for them or by them. I don't know.
So you have an inkling of what it might be, do you?
I got a feeling. I got a bit of an inkling. Yeah.
You're
okay, well,
let's have
Sam, what is the answer?
1906 SAO biscuits introduced. While some accounts say they're named after a boat, it's widely believed that SAO stands for Salvation Army Officer. This was in honor of William Arnott's son Arthur, who joined the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army website somewhat supports the Salvation Army officer naming of the biscuit, but in a 1993 book by Ross Arnott, grandson of the Arnotts founder, he said that the biscuit is named after a boat. His grandfather saw the boat called SAO on Lake Macquarie and thought that would make a good name for a biscuit.
Well, who do you believe?
A lot of information there.
You have been listening to Somehow Related with Glenn Robbins and Dave O'Neill.
I don't think SAO's the name of a boat. Have you ever seen?
No. Well,
Tim
Tam was a horse.
Tim Tam was a horse, but most boats are called,
Yeah.
Midlife Crisis or What a Beauty.
I saw one the other day. It was Lucky Lady 2. I'm thinking, Lucky Lady 1 must have been very lucky.
That's got divorce written all over it, I reckon. I would say SAO. I reckon it was.
It was named after
the Salvos.
a bloke. Say a biscuit. Yeah, it sounds right. It does sound right.
It's a boat called SAO. You don't really see a boat called Tim or a boat called Bob, do you?
No.
SAO is such a weird thing to name a boat. I just question that. I really question that. I'm actually with the Salvos on this one. I believe it was named after them.
Okay. That's good.
Anyway, I'm going to go off and have a Hare Krishna Boston bun if you want to join me.
Did you know that the widow of McDonald's, when Ronald, whoever Ronald McDonald was, died, she was left alone. She gave $1.5 billion to the Salvation Army.
Wow. Really?
Imagine if you were working that day and she turned up. And she just went to the front desk. You're working at the local.
You got a bag of clothes. You got a bag of clothes.
Got a small shoes, an old tennis racket here, cricket bat. Oh, and they got 1.5 million. Do you reckon that guy who takes the 1.5, he'd just be a bit quiet? He'd just go a bit quiet. He wouldn't say anything. Or he'd go up the back and we go, guess what? We got a really good donation. It's like 10 grand. Really? Yep. Anyway, I might head off today.
Yeah. Well, I donated a table. We've got the Salvos near us. They run a big shop. And I put this table, and it was a great retro old kitchen table in the back of my thing. And I pulled up, and I was getting out. The guy goes, yeah, whoa. We decide what stuff we have in the shop.
Yeah, I know. What happened? They wouldn't take it?
No, he pulled it out and he went, oh, no, this is good. Yeah, the hipsters will love this.
Yeah, no, it's very true.
This is all good.
We offered a leather couch to the Salvos and they knocked it back. It did have a hole in the back of it, but the front of it was all right.
Yeah. I get it. They get a lot of rubbish dumped.
And they can't get rid of it. So then it becomes a problem. I mean, especially during COVID, people are just going, like we are, where you clean out the garage and you go, I'm going to give this to the Brotherhood. And you're verging on throwing it away. Because maybe this is okay for the Brotherhood. And then a couple of weeks later, you see that shirt that you gave away down the shop. Someone else is wearing it. You go, okay. It's good on you.
I remember when we were in their 20s and my friend Cindy had all these great shirts and her mum threw in the op shop. Then another guy, Al, started wearing them because he bought them at the op shop. She's like, that's my shirt. He goes, hey, it was in the op shop. She's like, oh my God, my mum threw them out. Embarrassing.
Well, at least it's not as bad as the guy that gave an autographed book to the Brotherhood and then the person who wrote that book found it out. Now, if you've listened to the podcast, we don't need to explain that. We've told that story a few many times, but I did give away a book to the Brotherhood that Dave gave me that was autographed, and it was found by his wife, I think. A sad day, but as I said, I was robbed. I got robbed, and the first thing I looked for, I went, oh my God, please don't tell me they've taken my Dave O'Neill book, signed book, and they have.
Terrible. And then they didn't even want it. They gave it to the op shop. Unbelievable. Praise the Lord.